The show this week starts with the NFL Week 11 breakdown.
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 Starting with Thursday Night Football, Titans taking on the Packers. Brings out something new from Derrick Henry as he tosses a touchdown to go along with a rushing touchdown, and the Titans top the Packers 27-17. Austin Hooper grabs 2 touchdowns from Ryan Tannehill, and the Titans improve to 7-3, while the Packers are now at 4-7.
Ooh, is it panic time for the Packers? Has it been panic time for the Packers?
Well,
It's already been there.
Yeah, I agree.
We have already reached that time for the Packers. They've been more competitive over the past few weeks. I think they're actually finding a little bit of offensive awareness about how they can move the ball down the field, but is what it is. I think it's too far gone. Next, getting into Sunday football, we have the Bears taking on the Falcons. Justin Fields leads the Bears in passing and rushing. Yet another game, tossing 1 touchdown and rushing for another, but the Falcons use a Cordell Patterson kickoff touchdown as the difference in this one, winning 27-14.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, had him on my fantasy team, and it was a good day.
Yeah, he had a great day.
Good day. Whew, thank goodness.
Any additional note on Justin Fields?
What was that?
Any additional note on Justin Fields?
Justin Fields, he rushed for 85 yards today, but of note, he did suffer a left shoulder injury during the Bears' final drive and is undergoing x-rays. He just said, yeah, it hurts.
Did they cart him off, or am I reading the wrong one?
I don't think they carted him off. He said it kind of happened like the first play of that final drive. But he said he's just really, really sore from whatever it is, but there's really no definitives. But something to keep an eye on going forth.
Nate, what was the note on that?
For Patterson, that was his NFL record 9th kickoff return for a touchdown.
Ooh.
Yeah, I did see that.
Look at him go. Next, we have the Colts taking on the Eagles. Despite having a leader of men, the Colts can't put away the Eagles, losing after a late touchdown rush from Jalen Hurts. Seals the deal with the Eagles winning 17-16.
But there was a lot of thought there that the Colts had them. Like,
oh, it looked like it.
The leader of men should not be a blemish on his record here.
No, I mean, when you're playing a 8-1 team going into today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Saturday's got those boys going in the right direction.
I agree.
If anything, he's just running the ball.
Yeah.
With one of the best running backs in the league that wasn't running the ball for most of the season.
Now, I heard him talking on pregame. I can't remember if it was ESPN or Fox, and they said he actually sent them outside to practice this week. And they go, why in the hell are you sending these guys outside? They play in a dome. He goes, oh, well, we got to toughen them up and got to do more one-on-ones versus like first team versus second team.
All right.
So an NFL lineman would do when it starts to get colder. Next, we have the Jets taking on the Patriots in a snoozer of a game. The first punt return for a touchdown in the NFL this season sneaks up in this one for the Patriots to win 10-3.
So
I'll take it.
I was looking at the stat line on this game, and I was trying to just see who scored for him, and it's funny because the guy's name's Marcus Jones, so it was M. Jones returns a punt for touchdown. I'm like, Mac Jones. I'm like, what the? And I had to click it. I was like, okay, good, different people. I was very confused for a minute.
More confused than Zach Wilson playing quarterback?
No, not that bad.
I don't know. Jets on a little bit of a slide now, right? They're not.
They're jetsing.
Yeah, but you knew they were gonna. At least I did. That's why I bet them. I knew this was gonna happen.
You bet against them.
Yeah. I bet that they would lose this game. This was a no-brainer for me. Everything else I botched in the betting week, but this one felt good about.
This was it. All right. Next, the Texans taking on the Commanders. The Commanders take advantage of Davis Mills, picking him off twice and limiting him to less than 200 yards passing, and come away with a 23-20 win over the Texans.
Yeah.
The Texans were Texans, and the Commanders showed up. I think the fact that Chase Young didn't come out off the IR for this game is probably the bigger news of this.
Of course
What's
it is.
wr-
That was.
I'm not even doing the Ohio
Let it
State thing. I'm
go.
saying like, what's
Of course
wrong
it
with
is.
him?
He's
They
he
didn't
would
need him.
he's going to come next week. He was like questionable to come off this week. They were anticipating he was, but he didn't.
I mean, if
I
I
I'm
mean, yeah, it
gonna
would have
take
been a
him,
nice
but
tune-up game to get him some reps in, but definitely didn't need him.
I
I'm-
contend that Chase Young will not return to full Chase Young ever again.
What was full Chase Young? He was never really around long enough, was he?
I'm talking about the Chase Young of Ohio State grandeur that they drafted. Like
Okay.
that.
So
I
you,
think
so
he is
you
a
did
bust.
make this about Ohio State. Got it.
I mean,
all right. So
He's just never going to live up to the hype of when he was drafted.
right? He will not.
well, and I think theoretically, if you think about it, I mean, I don't know that I'd say he was not ever going to come off IR because they're 6-5, so they're contending. And this week they were playing the Texans. If I have to pick a time to bring someone off the IR, if it's risking it, I'm not going to do it for the Texans.
I see your point. My point is like when he finally does, it's not gonna. I don't see him staying healthy very long.
Yeah, he's just
So
too.
if he's on the fringe, looking ahead, they play at home next week against Atlanta, and then they're at the Giants.
I see him coming back for the Giants.
I think he comes back next week.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, you started this by saying you didn't think he was going to play the whole season. I thought.
He hasn't played the whole season.
No,
I
know,
said I don't think he'll stay healthy.
Listen, I was there when he tore his ACL. Damn it!
Why didn't you stop it?
I don't because I was on the way back from the sweet level to the 100 level.
Gotcha.
Too busy dodging shit
Poo water.
Yeah,
Next, Rams taking on the Saints. The Rams can't keep the offensive effort going into the second half, and the Saints tack on 17 in the second half on their way to a 27-20 win. The Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, throws for 3 touchdowns in the win.
What will Andy Dalton's legacy be?
Nothing.
I think kind of like Ryan Fitzpatrick at this point. He's like a journeyman.
Yeah, but he's not as cool as Fitz.
No, not even close.
It's like, what will people say about the Red Rocket? And like,
He was serviceable in times of need for teams.
he was a good hand.
Yeah,
He was the consummate pro.
There we go.
he was a nice guy. He was funny.
I don't know if we
Yeah,
know
but that's
any of
like
that.
Fitz. Like, we don't know any of that. That's what I mean. He's just. I know that he was temperamental in some places. That was the take on him
Talking
at
about in
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, but like, he's a redhead. Like, I just think that's like he does real well sometimes, and people are like, oh, Red Rocket, and then like, up, he's
I
gone.
think they don't expect it to be consistent. I think they're just like, yeah, look, Andy Dalton had a good game, and you just move on. You know, like,
Fair enough.
it's like, oh, he's coming out of the wood. You know, he's coming out, and he's gonna have this great. You know, I think they're just like, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
At least he had a couple good games.
Rams
Well,
suck.
Happy. Jameis, I saw he had an interview this week and was saying, "Oh well, I only lost my job because I got hurt, and it's not supposed to be like that."
Are they gonna start feuding?
Well, I think Jameis is just being a sore loser because Andy Dalton's out playing him.
Well,
they
this
are
is crazy.
That yeah, they may have some bigger chunk plays with Jameis in there, but
Andy
Andy
Dalton-
doesn't have those bonehead plays that Jameis does.
Yes, he's safer.
I wouldn't have Jameis on my team anyway. He's batshit crazy.
Still your crab leg.
That's it. The crab leg thing. I'm never gonna get over that.
That's one of the things we'll never get over with Jameis.
Yeah.
Or eating a W.
What was
Browns
that?
taking on the Bills in another game. The game that was moved to Ford Field thanks to record snowfall in Buffalo. I think they said it was the highest.
Yeah, they said like
4-hour total.
77 inches.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah, it 6 feet 5 inches. Whatever you converted to feet and inches. 6'5".
Crazy.
Over what was it? 2 days?
Yeah. I don't understand why wouldn't you want to play football on that? Well, that's what they were like. They're like, it's not even that we couldn't have played football, but it's impossible. They're like, we're not going to let fans be out driving around in this, like trying to get to the game. I don't believe
But
that.
meanwhile, all those fans went out and made sure those players got to the airport.
Right.
Yeah.
Apparently, what had happened was that on Thursday, when they called this, the players did not know till Thursday after practice. And then all the snow came, so they didn't get a chance to get ahead of the snow to get to Detroit.
Oh, so they were.
So that's why they had to be like plowed out and everything to get to Detroit because there wasn't enough time for Buffalo, like the organization, to get things going, to get a plane ready right away. So
Well, they had
everything was
I still think it was pretty crazy that they were able to plow all that snow off the airport and make sure they got out of town in time for this game.
I saw a thing that said that they still could have played in Bills Stadium. It's not the stadium that's the issue. It's that the town of or the city of Buffalo needs a place to put snow to be a functioning town, and they're putting it in the stadium.
there's the answer.
That's interesting.
Well, here's
Anyway.
two things actually. One, they said they released like 50-some thousand tickets to Buffalo fans for the Detroit location, and they sold out in 3 hours.
Buffalo fans, man. There's not a more loyal fan base.
And then why isn't Buffalo just staying in Detroit this week? They play again Thursday in Detroit.
Yeah, they said they wanted to go back. I don't know. I kind of thought that that's what they would do, and I was like, maybe that had played into picking the location.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Did
I
you-
just assumed, oh, they're playing there because they're playing there Thursday. They'll stay there for a week.
Yeah. No. Did you see?
Because I
them-
mean, you've heard teams do that before. Like a West Coast team goes to an East
Yeah.
Coast team, then they play another East Coast team. They just stay for the week.
Mhm.
Yeah. Did you see them trolling the Lions on Twitter? They posted, they like did Photoshop and made it look like they changed the end zones and stuff for the Bills. And they
Mhm.
said you do whatever you want as long as it's back to normal, like by Thursday.
Yeah, the Lions tweeted back. There's emergency numbers are by the phone
Yeah.
and things like that. It was a playful thing. I like
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
like don't break the tables and
Yeah, and just leave the tables alone.
Yeah.
yeah. And then after the game, they showed it on NBC pregame. Someone was locking up the locker room, and they said, "Oh, we left everything set up for you for Thanksgiving dinner. See you in a couple of days."
That's funny.
Anyway, the Browns try their best to ruin the day, but the Bills do what is needed to skate away with a 31-23 win. Jacoby Brissett throws for three touchdowns, Jim,
Elite.
Okay.
in a losing effort in what is most likely his last game at quarterback for the Browns.
No, he's
No
out
matter
next
who.
week.
Thought the Texans were next week.
No, the Bucks game's next week. I'm going up to Cleveland.
Ooh.
You poor thing.
He wants to see Jacoby Brissett before he's done.
Yeah.
Is that why you're going up, Nate? There's nothing to do with Tom Brady.
No, I want to go up there and get a Watson special.
The Panthers taking on the Ravens in a game where most would have thought Baltimore would put the game away early.
Like I wanted to say something about Josh Allen and everything, and you just ruined it.
Moving on.
God damn.
Panthers, led by Baker Mayfield, stay relevant until the Ravens score late, winning 13-3 in a game that was pretty crucial to keep them atop the AFC North Division.
Yeah, so they got Mark Andrews back, and I kept score checking. I'm like, why in the heck is this such low scoring? I really thought the Ravens would have ran away with this.
I agree. Cold weather game. I mean, that was a lot of what people were playing with this week, especially on Sunday. So I'm not sure either. I watched a little bit of this game. It just seemed like the game flow was just terrible.
It was, yes,
a lot
it was
of
just like trudging through crap.
Say it again, Alex.
It was trudging through crap.
Is that what watching it was looking like?
Yeah, it was just like boom, boom, slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was molasses.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield is shit.
Second.
I don't disagree.
I don't think there's anything new there, is there?
I mean, he genuinely, when he throws the ball, you're just like, what are you doing? But anyway,
Speaking of Detroit, the Lions, things that are shit, taking on the Giants. The Giants
Hey.
come into this one with high
They won.
hopes.
They're
They won.
They're storing back into their Super Bowl contenders.
yeah, don't talk shit on the Lions.
But
It
leave
cost me money.
disappointed. But leave disappointed as the Lions show out, winning 31-18, thanks to the running game, including a 3-touchdown game from Jamal Williams. Daniel Jones picked off twice, and Saquon Barkley limited to 35 total yards.
Where the hell has Detroit been? Like, where was this Detroit when Alex and I were like throwing our money at them?
Listen, they'll be back to normal on Thursday because why? Remember, Sam?
No.
It's not Thanksgiving until the Lions lose.
That's true. That's true.
You never know.
You never know. Well, I think you know.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Saying there's a chance. Raiders taking on the Broncos. Welcome to the toilet bowl in a game that is the woulda, coulda, shoulda of the season. But actually ends up to be entertaining because it gets to overtime. But the Raiders are the best of the worst in this one, winning 22-16 thanks to a Devontae Adams touchdown from Derek Carr in overtime.
They forgot the message to throw this one.
What?
Who are they tanking for, Jim?
Whatever Davis says. Al says, I've heard teams tank. This is
Well,
what
yeah, I
we
was
do.
Knowing the Raiders, it's not like they're going to tank for the best player in the draft. They'll tank for someone everybody thinks is a reach.
Right.
Yes, in pure Raiders fashion.
They don't have to tank for the players that they typically get.
Yeah, they're always there.
Always
That's-
around.
And who knows? Maybe they don't want a top first round pick because look what happened to their past five
Yeah.
first round
It's been
Yeah.
bad.
no, team.
It's been really bad.
It's been bad. So
Been
bad.
Cowboys taking on the Vikings. The Vikings have been doing their part to prove all the haters wrong this season until today. The Cowboys can do no wrong and ride a solid team performance all the way to a 42-3 win. Zeke Elliott scores 2 touchdowns on the ground, and Dak Prescott finds Tony Pollard twice through the air. Are the Cowboys poised for a championship run?
They
Only if they can prove that they can do this more than 1 week.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good take.
Tony Pollard's good.
He is.
Tony
He's
Pollard
better.
is the deal.
He's better for them than Zeke is.
Oh, absolutely.
Agreed. Agreed. And lastly, in the Sunday afternoon games, the Bengals taking on the Steelers. In the hunt to never have a losing season under Mike Tomlin, the Steelers shit the bed, despite having many opportunities thanks to a defense that did what they could. Jim, Joe Burrow only sacked twice in this one.
Unbelievable. So I was at a restaurant with friends, and it appeared from the first half, and my back was to the game, so I kept turning. It appeared like Joe was on his ass like 12 times.
He was.
So much so, like the friend said, Cincinnati's offensive line does not exist. So when I came and I was like doing the show, getting myself ready, going to talk about the contest that we had,
Mhm.
winner Joe Schmidt. I thought, sure as shit, we hit the over. 2 sacks. I feel like that's
They were
a sprint.
Looking down at the box score, under the miscellaneous for defense, it says he was hit 7 other times.
I was gonna say he got like knocked down a lot.
And they forced 2 interceptions. But the Bengals do win 37-30. Just so we're clear.
I don't know that TJ
Very
Watt
low.
interception. Holy shit!
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
If I am the defense for the Steelers, I literally look at the offense and go, what more do you people want?
Yes. I know. I think that all the time. Like, how do they not just want to punch each other in the face all of the time?
And I'm snagging that offensive coordinator and I'm going, you're a dead man.
Well, Pittsburgh's been saying that for the past 2 to 3 years.
Dear God. And it's not Pickett's fault. And I know some Yinzers are probably hanging on Pickett somewhere eventually. But it's not his fault either.
He didn't play terrible. I think he's got growing pains for sure, but I think that he's got potential.
In that system, what do you want him to do?
Exactly. I mean,
And in the end with Kenny Pickett, they still had, albeit they needed an onside kick, they still had an opportunity to tie the game late in the game.
yeah.
They were
And
in,
honestly,
they were in it sort of kinda.
Yeah, but you two are rational Yinzers. Somewhat. I'm giving you way too much credit. But
To who? Us?
yeah. I'm talking about the traditional Yinzer is gonna eventually shit on Kenny.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's not gonna be that poor kid's fault.
Well, they used to do it to like Ben even. They'd be like, oh, Ben sucks. Ben sucks. Then when Ben was good, they're like, oh, Ben's great. Ben's great.
I saw an interview with Ben and he hinted at that.
Yeah, there's a lot of fair weather fans in this area.
Yeah.
In the whole area. Live looking, Nate, Chiefs Chargers.
Right now, it's 7-3 Chargers.
Ooh. Ooh.
Don't worry about it, guys.
Is I was saying, isn't that what we said last week?
Yeah, they'll give that one away eventually.
Okay. And in
Jim,
Monday Night
There's this
Football,
guy playing for the Chargers. He's wearing number 13. You know who the hell he is?
Is it really the ghost of Keenan Allen? Is he out
guess.
there?
Yes, he is.
No,
did you start him in fantasy this week, Jim?
I did not, because I did not believe that was a real thing.
Yeah. In Monday Night Football, we have the 49ers taking on the Cardinals. What are our picks?
Niners.
All my bets are in, so I can say whatever the hell I want. I'm going to say the Cardinals.
So what, you don't really care? It's an 8-point spread. You have to bet with the spread.
I actually have real life money on the Niners.
8 points to the Cardinals.
Yes.
Give me the Cardinals.
Who's playing at quarterback, Jim? Do you know that?
Nope.
Taking the Niners.
They almost lost to the Chargers last
Yeah.
week.
Since this game is in Mexico City, give me Los Nueves.
What? The news?
The Niners.
Oh, I was like, new egg?
Tell we are not a multilingual show.
We'll work on it.
You must hit the closed
Pete.
captioning button to get to this in Spanish. That wraps up NFL Week 11, which